up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative.
But Jake Paul going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, to me, is absurd. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a legitimate two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He may have got destroyed by Daniel Dubois, but notwithstanding, there's nothing physically wrong with Anthony Joshua that he can't execute. Mentally, he might be in a little bit of a difficult position after the loss to Daniel Dubois. Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, you know, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did.
UFC President Dana White gave a strong opinion on the highly talked about Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a mismatch that hurts boxing's reputation. White, known for being outspoken, questioned how a former world heavyweight champion could fight a YouTuber-turned-boxer. His comments caused heated debates on social media, with fans split over whether this is a smart business move or a stunt that makes the sport look.
With my brother, unfixable.
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to.
White didn't hold back, saying Joshua fighting Paul makes no sense for boxing and could set a bad example where fame matters more than skill. He said celebrity fights might bring big pay-per-view numbers, but they risk turning boxing into entertainment instead of a true test of talent. Eddie Hearn confirmed that the Joshua versus Paul fight will not be an exhibition, but a fully sanctioned professional bout, raising the stakes higher than expected. What started as hype is now a real fight with serious consequences. Hearn said Joshua is preparing as if he's facing a top contender, not a crossover star, warning that Paul may not realize the danger. And with the fight moved to December 19th,
that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, like, you know, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, I don't know, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight a heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out. Would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no?
After beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. convincingly, Jake Paul said his long-awaited fight with Anthony Joshua is very likely for next year, but with his bout against Hank Davis cancelled. The Joshua fight has been moved forward to December 19th. This sudden change has increased excitement, with fans and critics debating whether Paul is ready to face a former world heavyweight champion, or if the fast schedule is more about entertainment than real sport.
I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up and it's looking very likely for next year.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up.
Due to a lawsuit and investigation, the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition, set for November 14th, 2025 in Miami, has been canceled. MVP confirmed they will not continue because of the series.
It was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way, way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring Magazine that December 12th and the 19th...
Davis faces a civil lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend, Courtney Roselle, over an alleged incident on October 27th at a Miami nightclub. Roselle accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and emotional distress. The complaint says Davis dragged and assaulted her through the stairs, kitchen, and parking garage. Police in Miami Gardens confirm there is an active investigation alongside the civil case, Jake.
Champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami on November.
Paul's bold call-out of Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, surprised many in boxing. Fans and analysts find it shocking that Paul, with his limited experience, would make such daring claims about a fighter of Joshua's level MMA.
Has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments and make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing.
Fighter Anthony Smith commented on Jake Paul's approach, saying Paul targets famous fighters to get big money bouts. Smith says Paul uses trash talk to get attention from big names, leading to high-profile fights with huge paydays. This matches what many notice about Paul's matchmaking, often choosing older, inactive, or retired fighters, which frustrates traditional boxing fans.
Beats Anderson Silva. We should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters. You talk shit about the UFC. Then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime, legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view and then she'll shits on all of us. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, why are we still fucking...
Jake Paul's ambitions go beyond boxing. He has also expressed interest in fighting MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul claims his boxing skills are improving, while suggesting McGregor is slowing with age. Many doubt this because McGregor has strong combat sports experience. Paul's comments show his confidence and his plan to challenge top stars to...
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older.
Many fans want to see Anthony Joshua fight Jake Paul because they believe Joshua would completely dismantle him and finally humble him in the ring. Jake Paul's constant call-outs of elite fighters and his claims of being better than top professionals have made him one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. To many people, his confidence in challenging Joshua seems unrealistic, even delusional given the huge difference in size, skill, and experience.
Got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP in Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out?
Frank Warren reacted to the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua announcement, calling it a circus pretending to be a boxing event. The veteran promoter asked why a former heavyweight champion would fight a YouTuber-turned-boxer, saying the fight is about money and hype, not real sport. Warren said, while Jake is improved, he is nowhere near Joshua's level. Still, the bout will draw massive global attention and pay-per-view sales. It's entertainment, not real boxing, Warren warned, saying the sport could turn into a spectacle if such fights...
My thoughts on it is that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years for a guy who's had no amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12
fights, yeah.
Fights, I'm not sure what he's had. And, you look at the opposition he's had and people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a two-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active fighter. And this is a big moment for him, and you've got to take your hat off to him for that. As regarding AJ, I'm sure AJ's wants a fight back after that, that unbelievable loss he had against Daniel Dubois, which is quite an emphatic loss. He wants to come back, get himself, dip his toe in the water. He's going to get paid a lot of money for this. This fight's going to generate a lot of money because for me, it's a fighter. Jake Paul's going to be a massive underdog against a big favourite, a big odds-on favourite. Can he do it or not? This is a car crash, and people will watch it because that's what people do.
Eddie Hearn recently said Anthony Joshua had an injury and wasn't expected back until August, delaying his planned fight with Daniel Dubois. This news raises questions about the new December 19th fight with Jake Paul. If Joshua is still recovering, fans wonder if the date is realistic. Some think Jake Paul called him out, knowing Joshua wouldn't be ready, using him for attention rather than a real fight. Others think Joshua may return early because of the huge money involved.
But we've heard absolutely nothing about it. Now, the Daily Mail are saying that Anthony Joshua is actually injured. Return timeline, as Eddie Hearns reveals, the heavyweight is unable to enter even training camp due to an injury setback. Anthony Joshua's estimated return date has been detailed after Eddie Hearn reveals the heavyweight has suffered from a setback. The British been out of action since he lost against Danny Dubois in Wembley last September. With his future up in the air on the back of the devastating knockout defeat, fans have been curious to know as to what his next move is, with no announcements made, despite reports he could face longtime rival Tyson Fury as soon as this year. Now, however, it's been revealed that Joshua is dealing with an injury, as revealed by Eddie Hearn, when asked if Joshua could face Dubois in a rematch after the champion pulled out of his fight against Joseph Parker due to illness. Let's carry on. That's kind of a bit more of a miscellaneous stuff. No rematch with Dubois will be happening anytime soon, though, Eddie Hearn revealed, as he details when fans can expect Joshua's return to the ring. So we won't be seeing Anthony Joshua in the ring against Daniel Dubois for a rematch. That's not going to happen. I'm going to quote Eddie Hearn here directly. Now, it's interesting because Eddie Hearn hasn't really revealed much detail on it, but bear with me. It says, not a lot to report. Not a lot to report. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn told IFL from Australia, look, he resumed training, and to cut a long story short, without going into too much detail about any injury, he's not really ready to start camp. He needs another 8 weeks.
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora criticized the idea of Jake Paul getting a WBC ranking, calling it an insult to the sport. Chisora said real fighters work years to climb rankings, while Paul, who faced only unranked or past prime opponents, would be ranked for fame, not results. He accused WBC president Mauricio Suleiman of harming the organization's reputation for profit, saying this is a disgrace to boxing. This is unfair. Chisora said rankings must come from real fights, not clicks. Anthony Joshua responded, saying Paul lacks experience but has helped boxing financially by attracting new fans and big paydays.
Yeah, good. Great for boxing. Good luck to him. He's trying. Zero amateur experience, throwing himself in the deep end. I guarantee you he'll probably learn a lot more than a lot of fighters will that are just half-hearted with it. Man's throwing himself in the deep end, putting himself under pressure. When you can deal with that amount of pressure, you have to get better.
Jake Paul has long admired Anthony Joshua, calling him one of his favorite fighters. Even though he has recently talked trash, Paul often praised Joshua's skills and achievements. But now, Paul says he's frustrated with boxing, claiming too much focus is on money and politics instead of big fights. He boldly said he is the only real fighter in boxing, claiming he brings the excitement and energy the sport is missing.
Wanting to see it happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight.